It is indeed a win to live in Fort Bend, to be educated in Fort Bend, and to teach and work in Fort Bend. I'm excited about the future.
The success for our students begins cradle to college. Research shows that the sky is the limit for them. We could follow the traditional education pathway, but really what I believe we have different that makes us stand out is we are looking ahead. We are getting our students prepared for the future. And so as you think through that, the foundation begins with getting out of the box.
I am so excited to return back to the Superintendent Podcast. This is where we talk about leadership. The name of our podcast is SuperIntentional because we're intentional about everything we do in Fort Bend ISD and everything we do about leadership. Today, I have one of our best and brightest leaders in the district, Dr. Jaretha Jordan. She is joining me today. We're going to have a conversation centered around why it's a win to be in Fort Bend. It's a win to work in Fort Bend. It's a win to go to school and be educated in Fort Bend. And we're going to really talk about some of the great opportunities that we have going on in the district. So Dr. Jordan, I'm so excited to have you here today. First, can you just tell a little bit about who you are and what you do? And then we want to just jump right in on why it's a win to work, to be educated, to live in Fort Bend.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. I'm Jaretha Jordan. I'm the Deputy Superintendent of Teaching and Learning. Honestly, I say that's a fancy title for someone who supports school leadership, fine arts, athletics, and curriculum and instruction.
Yes.
I am excited to talk to you today about all the great things going on in Fort Bend. I might be a little biased for sure, but Fort Bend is the place to be.
Absolutely. So I want to approach it this way. Many school districts understand where we are in the state of affairs in public education. We cannot be the old traditional K-12 model that people are used to. Parents want choice. They want specialization. They want options. They want programming that will prepare their students for the future, programming that will prepare their students beyond their K-12 experience. And so let's just kind of dissect how we got here and what school districts are doing to make sure they meet the needs of their families.
So as you know, Dr. Smith, my passion is teaching and learning, curriculum and instruction. But I'd like to start with all of the extracurricular offerings that we have because I do believe that for many students, that's the reason why they come to school each day. And when you think about attending school in Fort Bend, we have some award-winning programs. Whether it's looking at our fine arts team who has been we've been a district of distinction for 13 years in a row, and it goes above and beyond choir and theater. We offer mariachi, and so our students can participate in some of those higher level fine arts programs. And then when you look at our athletics team, outside of the normal traditional, what every school district offers, this year we launched flag football. We were able to partner with the Houston Texans, and it was so excited to see our teams at the high school level compete. And we did have one team make it all the way to playoffs, so super excited about that. And then when you think about really going above and beyond just what happens in the classrooms, our parents used to say the books and the butts, right? Looking at arithmetic and math and reading. Let's talk about our premier opportunities. So we come to school, we learn reading, we learn math, but we also have launched some new and innovative programming. When you look at students having exposure and access at the early age, research shows that the sky is the limit for them. They will excel beyond the high school level. And so we launched 21 campuses getting access to premier learning. Whether it's service sentinels, so at the elementary campuses, students are learning what it's like to go out and serve your community. Whether you're looking at transportation, what does it take to make engines and buses go? And then we're looking at leadership. What does it mean for you to be a leader in your community and within your school? And so our students have access to the city of Sugarland, the city of Missouri City. They have access to travel within our area and then to go to Houston. it's been great to see our students learn and grow.
So all of these experiences really help shape our students in ways beyond just like the traditional K-12, or as you put it, just the writing, reading, and arithmetic. Because we know that our students are walking into a world that's going to require them to be well-rounded in their knowledge, in their skills, and in their experiences. So when you think about it's a win to work in Fort Bend, and you think about some of the programming, whether it be secondary or even elementary, that we currently have in place that are preparing our students, what comes to mind in terms of highlighting a signature program and really stressing why it's a win to work in Fort Bend, win to live in Fort Bend, win to be educated in Fort Bend?
So there will be twofold. I'm going to start, I believe the success for our students begins cradle to college. So the first program that I will highlight is our pre-K program, right? That is the foundation for every school district. And we have pre-K 3 offerings and we have pre-K 4. And this year we increased the number of 3-year-olds attending school in Fort Bend. So imagine students coming in and getting access and exposure much earlier to language, to play, being able to grow with us to get them to that collegiate level. And the second would be our engineering program. That's housed at Reese. Our engineering students, we were challenged to build and grow that program. We almost doubled the capacity or doubled the number of students enrolled, and they have been competing at the national level. We know preparing students for the future really takes a focus on engineering, and we've had a lot of students compete in that program.
So I was at Elkins High School last week, and I was visiting classrooms, and I went into this classroom, and the students were engaged in architect and engineering work. And they were creating these designs and architectural work that really has been a year in the making. And I had a chance to go around each group, and they were educating me on their creation, starting from the software design to what it was going to actually physically look like and the purpose. I mean, they were literally creating something that came from an idea, and now they're going to make it into something that's going to be useful and practical in the real world. And their creation was absolutely amazing. So can you touch on some of those high school experiences that our students are engaged in that really we're looking to expand in many, many other campuses in the district?
So when you think about it, we hopefully are sparking and igniting not only creativity, but really helping students identify their passion. So when you talk about architect and design, we're setting the pathways up for students to graduate from high school, and now they have identified their career choices. And so we're looking at the future of our workforce. So we have a drone program. You may be interested in aviation, but maybe your passion is not to be a pilot. We have programs where students are coding, where students are able to activate drones. They're understanding, maybe it's photography, how they could get aerial footage, how they could get videos. So super excited about that. And maybe you're not a hands-on or a mathematician person. You're wanting to work through something where you can code. So we launched Esports, where students are learning gaming. That is a passion for our students. I know that many parents are like, I wish they would get off that video game, but in order to meet our students where they are, the world and a career is centered around gaming. So we brought gaming to Fort Bend, and our students are thriving within our esports. We have students who have been competing, and we have teams who have placed second and third place in our state competitions. So super excited about that. And maybe your career or pathway is not traditional. So maybe once you graduate from high school, you're going into a technical program. So when we think about what do we offer for our students at our Reese, our CTE facility, I don't know if you know this, but you can go and get your oil changed at Reese. Our students are practicing through our automotive program, and so they are excited. They are learning what it takes to be certified through automotive tech. You can get your oil changed. You can go and maybe get a manicure and pedicure or your haircut, just not during your work time. You also can visit our cafe there. And so again, whether you are collegiate focused or you are workforce focused, there's a place for you in Fort Bend.
That's awesome. So this is healthcare mecca. We're right in the middle of it. And so I'm curious about some of the internship opportunities that our students have available to them in the healthcare industry and any certifications that our students may be able to gain just being a part of some of the programs we have in the district.
So health science profession is a big profession, especially centered right here. And so our health science program, there are many different pathways that you can take. You actually can leave high school certified as a medical tech. So when we think about if we have a medical emergency, you have those individuals that respond, and they're the ones who take your blood pressure, your vitals. Our students can leave with being certified in that area. We also have programs for our students who are on the RN, a registered nurse pathway, and they partner with our local hospitals and our local facilities, and then our students who aspire to be doctors also have internships where they can work and get exposure and access early on before they launch into college.
So when you think about those opportunities and what makes Fort Bend ISD stand out or separate and apart from our competition, what do we need to do to continue to build on what we've already established? What are you and your team looking toward in terms of expanding opportunities for the multiple schools that we have in our district? We're a very large district, and I know we're working on how we can expand these opportunities across our school district.
I will go back to something you said earlier. We could follow the traditional education pathway, but really what I believe we have different that makes us stand out is we are looking ahead. We are getting our students prepared for the future. And so as you think through that, the foundation begins with getting out of the box. Yes, reading is important. Yes, math is important, science, all those things. What's also important is planning and having our students put in a place to where they can be successful early on. So as you're thinking about where we headed, we're thinking about looking at a multiple language program, giving our students access. We are in a place where we have over 100 languages spoken. Why not have some type of pathway program opportunity where parents could choose to we embrace that and bring that in, and our students walk away multilingual by choice. We're also looking at, we have so many airports around us, whether it's a public airport or a private airport, partnering to make sure that our students have exposure with aviation. And then thinking about what's to come in the world. We know that AI is so important, and we know that students use it, adults use it. Really what's helping make us stand out is we are looking at getting our students equipped to be able to jump into that AI world in an appropriate manner.
So as we talk about a lot of the exciting programs we have, several things come to mind. One is like, okay, when can we get started? I'm ready to go. The other is the whole marketing piece, because it's one thing to have all these great programs and opportunities in our district, but then I think about how or what is our strategy to get the word out? How are we going to market so that we can reach families in Fort Bend ISD, beyond Fort Bend ISD, and sell our program and make sure they know this is the district of choice?
We want to make sure that people know that we are wanting to educate students. We are wanting to bring you in, and we're needing to get to the community to inform them. So it may be that we're making neighborhood visits. It could be that we're connecting with our local realtors who are bringing in families into the district, where we're giving them information so that they can then turn and give it to new families coming in. And so we're looking at traditional ways through social media and mail outs and call outs, but we also have to meet our community and people where they are. So going to neighborhoods, connecting with HOAs, making sure that we're visiting with our realtors. And then there are so many multi-district events where families attend, so it's making sure that Fort Bend is active in the community multi-district event.
Are there trends that you're seeing that we are ready to move forward in Fort Bend ISD? Are there trends that you're seeing that maybe we can use to expand what we're already doing? And then just from a parent perspective, what are some of those trends that are unique to parents and what they're looking for?
So it's funny, I was thinking and reflecting upon a conversation that I had with my grandmother years and years ago when I was little. And she said, kids are so different. I feel like going through the years, we say that with every generation of students that rise through the system. And so as we think about our kids now and where they are more tech driven. Everything is done through an app, everything is done through a device, and honestly, many places it's done through AI. And so as we're talking about what's out there, that's one of the major trends is really getting us to be a tech savvy district, but embracing the world of technology, AI, and what's to come. Coding and programming is very important. And I think we're already on the pathway to do that. When you think about where we are, we've been planning for this. We are ready for this. We were born for this, right? If we believe that it is cradle to college, we have to invest in our students, invest in their education past the collegiate level. So we are doing great things with our academies at the high school. Really, where we could head is looking at building that foundation at our middle school level. Our kids are excited. Let's meet them where they are. How great would it be for kids at the middle school level to have voice and choice? We already have voice and choice at the high school level. Let's bring that down with eventually moving it down towards the elementary level. And then as we think about parents, I live in an area where the students are highly involved and highly engaged. And I connect with those students and those parents, and they are taking some of their private lessons or their private practices outside of Fort Bend ISD because we may not offer that. So as we're talking to parents, I really want to ask them to share that with us. Not because I was walking through the neighborhood and I passed someone who's playing cricket and I asked, really, when we have opportunities for feedback, whether it's through your parent forum, whether it's through focus groups, bring those things to us so that we can build that into what we're doing every day.
It is indeed a win to live in Fort Bend, to be educated in Fort Bend, and to teach and work in Fort Bend. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about where we are now. When you think about, I like your how you phrase that, from the cradle to the graduation ceremony, basically. And so whether it be expanding early childhood opportunities and then building our choice options throughout our elementary schools, working with those principals to develop and design the program of specialization there, and then building and expanding at the middle school level. You mentioned all the opportunities at Reese and opportunities for industry certifications. There's so much out there. And then, of course, our marketing plan. So there is so much out there. I'm very excited for our students and for what this means for our district. I'm excited that you're leading the charge and working with your team to get us where we need to be so that we can continue the messaging. It is indeed a win to live, work, and be educated in Fort Bend. I just got to ask you, it's a new year, it's a new day. What was your New Year's resolution?
So it is New Year, New You. That's the phrase, right? I believe most people will usually say, oh, I'm going to work out. I want to lose weight. I am more of the intelligent mental person. So my New Year's resolution is to read one new book each month.
Okay, I like that. So that's 12 books.
12 new books, yes.
So when you talk about new books, are you talking about like leadership books? Are you talking about fiction? What is your focus?
So leadership books come natural for me because it's a part of our day-to-day. So this is outside of leadership books. It could be fictional. It could be biographies or autobiographies. My challenge is to read something that is outside the work that I do every day.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what those 12 books are because I probably can add a few more books to my list too.
I love it.
So excited about the next steps in this journey. So excited to be able to share with our community the next steps in this journey. This has been the SuperIntentional podcast where we talk about leadership, talk about great opportunities, and today's focus was on why it's a win to work in Fort Bend. And you heard so much about some of the program opportunities that we provide for our students and so much about where we are in terms of marketing and in terms of making sure that we're on the cutting edge with innovation in Fort Bend ISD. More to come, so stay tuned. So as always, my favorite part of the podcast is answering your questions. You have great questions.
Happy New Year, Dr. Smith. My question is, what is your New Year's resolution for the 2026 year?
So my New Year's resolution for 2026 was more about reflection. So I just took time to reflect on things that worked well, things that I need to improve upon. And for me, it is just about being my best self.
Hi, Dr. Smith. I'm curious, is there a second language you've always wanted to learn, and why?
You know, I've always wanted to learn Spanish. I'm pretty limited. Hola, ¿cómo está? Is about my language expansion in Spanish, so I got a lot of work to do, but I really want to speak Spanish because so many of our students and families are Spanish speakers, and I want to be able to communicate to them and show them how much I respect their language and show them how much it means to me to be able to interact on their level.
Hi, my name's Adam. I'm a sophomore at Ridgepoint High School, and my question for you, Dr. Smith, is do you have any video games that you played growing up, and if so, do you still play video games?
So I don't currently play games, but growing up, I had all the games. I had the Sega Genesis, I even had the Atari, I even had the Nintendo. My favorite game growing up was Pac-Man, where the Pac-Man used to go all around and eat the dots. So I really enjoyed that, a lot of fun memories there. And then as I got a little older and got into sports, Madden was my favorite game. So I would play Madden all night and all day, and with my son even as he started to get into video games. I am so excited today. I am introducing Mr. Myron McReynolds of Ridgepoint High School. We have an exciting topic that we are going to be discussing today, and I cannot wait to hear about all the great things you are doing with esports. I hear a lot about esports. People hear a lot about esports, but not everybody really knows, like, what is esports? So first, just tell us about you and what you do at Ridgepoint High School, and then help us, for those that aren't really connected with esports, educate us. What is esports and what value does it bring our students?
Well, what's funny is a little over a year ago, I didn't really know that much about it.
Yeah.
And a couple of kids came up to my room and they said, "Can you sponsor our gaming club?" And I was like, "Yeah, I remember I liked gaming. I was a gamer when I was younger." So I said, "Yeah, I'll do that. I'll sponsor the gaming club." And I go to the gaming club and we play some games, and they start talking to me about esports. And I'm like, "Oh, what's this? What's esports?" And so I start to research it, and it's competitive gaming. And they're all the big popular games right now, you know, Fortnite, Valorant, Super Smash Brothers, stuff like that. They play against other schools competitively. So I started a little team, and I even paid the little league fees and everything, because this is brand new. Nobody at the district has ever heard of it. So, and we had 8 players on the team. And we played that first season, and I started wanting them to be able to practice up at the school. And so I reached out to the district, and I did a little research about the benefits of esports, and I talked about the benefits to the district. And it was Dr. Stevens that got back to me. He said, "I can do better than that. We can get you a lab." And he actually put in the initiative to build the first lab for us. And we got that lab in that same year. By January, we were up and running. And all this came from just 2 kids coming up and asking me. And
It's amazing.
it's crazy how it happened so fast.
Absolutely. It's amazing how an idea can become a reality. But you know what? Not only you have to have the idea, but you have to have the adult leader to really build upon that idea. And I want to thank you for your leadership in taking that idea and making it what it is today. When I think about like the benefits of esports or competitive gaming, what do you see, or what are you seeing early on as the benefits for students to be involved in esports?
Well, I think the biggest benefit is the same as any extracurricular activities. With extracurricular activities, it gives kids a purpose, a reason to be at school, like a passion, something they're passionate about. It allows them to be part of a team. It helps their social skills, and it does the same thing that them other extracurriculars do. And that's why I always, since I've been at Ridge Point, I've always gone to like all the events. You know, I'll go to theater, I'll go to band, I'll go to football games, basketball games, because I believe in extracurriculars, because I believe giving kids that purpose is going to help with like attendance and grades, their mental health, everything. And I think that esports reaches a different kid, like an underserved kid that maybe didn't have something before.
Absolutely. So what is like your curriculum design? What is practice like? I'll say it like that. You know, it's competitive gaming. So what does the practice structure look like?
I'm not particularly great at these games, so it's different than like I'm not like a coach in terms of like, you know, a football coach knows football really well. I don't know the games as well. So it's like the kids get to be the leaders. Like I'll have a captain and they'll run the team. And I actually love that they get to be the leaders of this little group, of this little team. And there's so much strategy involved. And so it's almost like every team we have, you know, like our Mario Kart's a team of 4. Our Valorant team is a team of 5. Our Smash Brothers teams are teams of 3. They have a leader and they come up with teamwork together, and they're really in charge of it because I don't know that much about it really.
So is this like a year-long competition, or does it have a window of time that the students are engaged? How does that work?
Well, we have a fall season, and it's online. The first season in the fall is online, and it lasts about 8 weeks. And if you finish high enough, you can qualify for the state championships, which are in May at Baylor University. And so they have a fall season, and then they have a spring season. And the reason they do that is because kids are involved in other extracurriculars, and maybe they can play in the fall, but they can't play in the spring, or they can play in the spring, but they can't play in the fall. So it lets me reach a lot more kids, the fact that we have 2 different seasons like that where you can qualify for state. Yeah.
How are our kids doing? Are they advancing to the higher levels, or these? How close are we to getting maybe some kids to participate in state competition?
Oh yeah, last year we had 3 schools going. We had Ridge Point, we have Clements, and we have Fort Bend Austin that competed last year. And I had 9 kids go to state. Clements had 9, and Austin had 6 or 7. And so we already had kids going to state, even though we had just gotten started and just started doing this.
Wow.
And this year is a whole different story. Like Clements is going to have 20 plus people go to state. They are a powerhouse at this stuff.
When we compete, are we competing against Fort Bend ISD schools or schools from across the state of Texas?
We competed in what's called the Central Region, which is like Texas and Arkansas and Oklahoma and Mississippi. And it's a group of like 7 or 8 states, and it's called the Central Region. And like, say the championship for Fortnite in the fall was between Clemens and Austin.
Okay.
And then the championship for Valorant in the fall was Clemens versus Austin. They were the 2 finalists for both of those games.
Wow.
And so they are a very real threat to win the state championship.
Tell me about the competition. You touched a little bit on the team names. I'm curious about that. Like, what are the team names? How do you all come up with those names? What's important for us to know about the team names?
For the most part, early on, I kept it kind of generic, and they started wanting to pick their own team names, but you got to be a little careful on that, because I'm not up with the lingo of these teenagers these days, and they'll come up with some names where I need to go check, you know, like Urban Dictionary or something and make sure this is okay. And there's been a couple times where it wasn't okay, and I had to kind of, oh, no, we can't name your team that. But, yeah, I'm letting them name their teams now. I think when you get to like the state championship level where it's real formal, I'd like to just be the Ridge Point Panther Fortnite team or something like that. But yeah, it adds a lot of fun to it, letting them make their names. But you got to be careful. I can't keep up with the lingo of the teenagers these days on everything.
Absolutely. That is so neat. So what is your vision moving forward? Where do you see this going?
I'm hoping to get all the schools involved, and we're working on that. The district's been working on that really hard. Mr. Nilsson, Mr. Pham, Mr. Carr, those are the ones in the IT that have been working on this, but it is such a big job. It's really tough to get all these networks installed and have the proper power and have everything. And it's going to take a while, but it's going to be worth it.
You mentioned a lab. I'm curious what the lab is like. What is the setup like? What is needed to have an esports lab?
It's more than we ever could have imagined. It's
Really?
it's such a big job getting something like that off the ground. We have 11 top of the line gaming PCs in there. We have 6 Switch 2s in there, and it has its own little private network that can get out and play the games, because you don't want everybody in the school being able to play
Right.
these games during the
Right.
day. So they can only play in that room after school is the only time they can play.
And that was my next thought. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, are students doing the competition like during the school, after school,
It's an after-school
weekends?
program.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's an after-school program, and the games begin at 4 o'clock. They have a 3 o'clock slot, but we get out at 2:50, so we usually wait till the 4 o'clock slot, and we play our games at 4 o'clock for the season. And like I said, the season's completely online. We play against other schools across Texas online, and if you're one of the top teams, you can qualify to play in person at the state championship.
So the state championships are held what month?
At the end of April, early May. This year, it's April 30th to May 2nd. It's at Baylor University. And
Okay.
like last year, there was over 1,000 kids there. It's just a
Wow.
crazy event. It's amazing. It's a group called TechSef that puts it on. And they run the actual championship. And it's amazing that they do it. It's such a great opportunity. The kids were having the time of their lives there last year.
I would love
Yeah.
to witness esports state championship.
Oh, it's been
So
fun.
Keep me up to date on that.
I think we got a chance of winning some state championships at Fort
Okay.
Bend. I really do.
Okay.
It looks like we got some teams that could win it this year.
Well, I'm excited about it. I appreciate your leadership. I talked about the vision. Things like this don't happen unless you have a leader that has a vision, again, to bring an idea to reality. And so I appreciate your leadership. Ridge Point is so lucky to have you. We as a district are so lucky to have you. And I'm looking forward to the growth of this program and all that you have planned for the future. Is there anything else that you would want to share either to students, potential students, about your program in particular, or just any exciting next steps that you see happening?
One of the things I would talk about is there's always this kind of opinion that maybe this isn't a legitimate thing. And what I would say to that is it takes an insane amount of skill to be at the top level of these games, an insane amount of teamwork, an insane amount of strategy. The amount of people that play these games, like, I don't know if you know this, the gaming industry, it's a $500 billion a year industry. It's bigger than the movie industry and the music industry combined.
Wow.
It's a huge, huge industry. They've sold over 170 million Switches. So that's the number of people that are playing these games. So to be one of the best at it, that means something. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of determination. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, the amount of teamwork and skill that it takes to be at the highest level at this kind of thing.
Absolutely. And you think about what our students are going to be engaged in as they move through their academic career, remaining here in Fort Bend, but even after. You talk about strategy. You're going to need to have a good strategy mindset and focus in any endeavor that's going to require you to think, to resolve conflict, to be a part of a team, collaborate. These are things that students benefit from being involved in and engaged in now to help shape what they're going to be living in the future. And you're right, a lot of people don't know and understand how big this industry is.
Yes, it's a huge industry.
And so you never know where these opportunities and experiences are going to take our students. Maybe one day our students can be a part of this billion-dollar industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so are you seeing some students who have maybe the passion and the
absolutely.
energy to really dive deep into this industry and get to the next level?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely got a lot of kids with a lot of passion about these kind of things. And it opens up more doors than you think, esports like this, because like kids that are great at esports, they're great at problem solving. They're great at strategy, which is used in nearly every field, right?
Absolutely.
Like especially the IT. Like if you go to an IT department, like if you go to Fort Bend's IT department, there's a lot of gamers there, like former gamers. There really is. And you go to you go to Google, and look at all their engineers. I bet a lot of them are gamers. And the reason for that is because it kind of leads to those kind of strategic, kind of problem-solving minds enjoy things like esports, and I love giving them this opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that our students have this opportunity. We were talking earlier about the innovation in Fort Bend ISD, why it's a win to be educated in Fort Bend ISD, to work in Fort Bend ISD, and to live in Fort Bend ISD. And you and your leadership and the program opportunities that you're providing for our students is another shining example. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for giving our students these opportunities. And again, keep me posted. I'm going to be very interested in that state competition, and I want to witness that and see what that's like.
I think we can win one this year. And,
all right.
And thanks to the district, they've been so supportive on this. Dr. Stevens has been kind of the lead, and Mr. Pham, they've been so supportive on everything. And of course, my principals, Mr. Brogan and now Dr. Jackson, they've been, if they're not supportive, this might not get started.
Absolutely.
And they were supportive of this, and they, helped me kind of get things off the ground, and they've all been instrumental in getting this started.
Well, as you can see, just another reason why it is a win to be educated in Fort Bend. I want to thank Mr. McReynolds for your leadership again. I want to thank you for all you do for our students, for giving this opportunity for our students. Again, it started as an idea. Mm-hmm. And you as the leader took that idea and you built it to where it is today. And our students are currently benefiting and will benefit in the future. We talked about the strategy. We talked about conflict resolution. We talked about collaboration. Those are skills that, as you stated, they're going to need in any endeavor in their future.
Yes.
And so it's great to know that we have this opportunity in Fort Bend ISD. So again, thank you for your leadership.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hopefully we can bring home a state title from Fort Bend. They give out championship belts to the teams that win the state titles. Hopefully I can bring you a belt and show it to you.
I would love it, and I would wear
it might be
with pride.
Clemens or Austin bringing it to you, but hopefully we'll get you a belt.
That's okay. I would wear it with pride.
Yes.
Thank you. So this has been the Super Intentional Podcast, where we talk about leadership and we share great stories going on in Fort Bend ISD. And this is an awesome story. Again, I want to thank Mr. McReynolds and all the work that he is doing with esports to set our students up for success.